next song, and it'll be us.
All right. And on Facebook, do you do it on your own page or on the Media Center's page?
My page.
Okay.
Yep. And what I'm going to do, I can share it usually.
Yeah, I can go on there and share it too. Share
Yeah, go for it. As I say, good morning, Facebook. They're all going to go, where have you been? I used to do this show every day.
Oh, wow.
And as people have reminded me, you don't get paid for this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. And there we go. A little bit of warm up there. Having just a great morning so far. You know, you walk into a studio and all of a sudden you're like, wow, what is going on? Things weren't where they were, but that's okay. And can't stop smiling. You know, that's not a bad list. Love and Theft, they're a good group. Like that. Longhorn Slim before that. You're listening to 103.5 WLSP, The Sun, right here in beautiful Sun Prairie. We're underwritten by those wonderful folks at the Bank of Sun Prairie and the Baker Realty Group. Glad to be a part of it, glad to be a sponsor, supporter, and all of those good things out there. Michael Powers, good morning. Glad that you could join us on Facebook. And yes, we are now back on Facebook. The Gebitsit that goes into the doohickey was not connected to the thingamabob, so we are back on, and we are now live on Facebook or YouTube. So if you want to go out there and catch us, we'd love to have you on there. Hey, this morning, first of all, let me say this. Don't forget, it's Monday, so that means it's Sunshine Supper Day. Go down to Sunshine Supper right across from Stark Realty and get in line, grab your meal, grab your meals, whatever you need, we'll be happy to give them to you. Pull around back, come up, they're going to ask you how many meals you want, and then we will bring that number of meals out to your vehicle, and so you can drive off. It's a drive-through. We like doing the drive-throughs. It's been absolutely wonderful doing between 350 and 400 plus meals on a Monday night. So we are meeting a need. I always feel like we're missing somebody. That's my thing, but that's my personal thought. I feel like we should be higher than that, but that's okay. That's all right. Tonight, it's St. Albert the Great and Sloppy Joe's, and they have the best Sloppy Joe's. It's a night to give yourself a reward night, Seth, and eat Sloppy Joe's. Hey, I do apologize for the delay in getting everything set up and getting in here. One of our computers was down, and that was the Facebook computer, so I do apologize for that. But I want to get into this because I know this couple, and I'm going to call them a power couple, and you'll understand why. But they are. I have not seen a couple that's more loving and fun to be around. And they are, when you see them together, you can tell these two are just absolutely in love. And I figured it out the other day. I think it's just because Jen can kick his butt. But other than that,
maybe so.
She's something else, I tell you. But Seth Degan is here from Kicks Unlimited. And let me tell you why I wanted to have him on the radio. It's not necessarily to promote Kicks Unlimited. I mean, that just happens. But what I know about this organization is that it is a vehicle, it's a mechanism, it's something that's in our community that can get your kids off the couch, okay, get your fat butt off the couch, get you into a program that is fun, that's inviting, it's with friends, with people you know, it's good for you, and it helps in the way of just improving your life. And let me read what they say from their website. Martial arts is a vehicle for character development and self-improvement. Teamwork and character are prioritized over competition and ego. I love that. Which leads to transformative results. Our top priority is guidance and offering students support along the structure and tools needed to reach new heights. With a focus of character development and inner strength, we work relentlessly to help you unleash your true power. Now, if that's not enough to get you off the couch, I don't know what will be. But, Seth, again, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Man, how did this all come about? Did you just wake up one day and say that I'm going to start an organization that just happens to be martial arts?
Well, it could be a long story. I'll do the best to compress it. All right. So I personally started martial arts in 1988. So I was, 8.5, 9 years old, took a summer program, and then started continuing classes after that. And it was just a thing I thrived at. And so earned my black belt when I was 14 years old. 14, yep. And I was, even before that, I was assisting with classes, kind of being a little leader on the side, and then started just assisting and teaching right away. By 16 years old, I was the I'll call it a lead instructor, of the school I was at, and by 18 I was the head instructor, and it was kind of a thing that I knew. I'm like, hey, I could run a martial arts school, and so it was just in my mind since I was a kid, and so. In around 2000, 2001, separated from the school I was with, but a good friend of mine, Jason Hewitt, in 2002, he opened up the Kicks Limited system, and he started the first school in Fitchburg. And then we partnered up in 2004 and started the Sun Prairie Kicks Unlimited, and that used to be, right now we're at the corner of Bird Street and Linnerud at the four-way stop near Sheehan Park in the Sun Prairie administrative building. We used to be on Main Street, the building. Right now, Subway is in that building on Main Street, just a couple doors up from Culver's. And it used to be a long time ago. It was a Golden Corral. When we were doing remodeling, we saw a beam that had Golden Corral written on it. And then those that remember, probably in the 90s, early 2000s, or maybe the 90s, it was Goodwill for a long time. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And now it's a Sun Prairie Children's Museum. That's a space that we started out in. Cool. And then, of course, as we grew, we started bare bones, and we grew, and the building that we're in now, we purchased late 2011, did some remodeling, and moved in 2012. So.
And just as a fun thing, I have to share this with everybody. Seth and Jen have slept in my bedroom. They actually bought my house on Wallingford, and I love that house, by the way.
It's a great house. We loved it too.
I thought it was,
Yep.
And then when you sold it again, I'm like, I'm trying to get you to buy it back. I mean,
too slow. Hot market.
I know, in this market, man, if I had a really good real estate agent, it might have worked
right,
out.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
I tell you. So when did you meet Jen?
We met. Oh boy, look at the timing.
In
we
karate?
met. No,
karate.
we met in 2002,
Uh-huh.
and it was actually Halloween downtown Madison. And yep. And so I could go into a deep story there. It was definitely fate. It was very crowded. We bounced around from different establishments and both ended up back at the same place. And later on we talked and said like, yeah, we were both kind of eyeing each other, earlier in the night. And so I'll tell you what, she made the meeting happen.
Really?
I was out with one friend and happened to go up to get a drink, and she purposely went up at the same time and was next to me, and then I said hi, and actually my line was, "Hi, Buffy."
Buffy.
And so it was Halloween. She was really into Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the series.
Cool.
Oh yeah, and so she was kind of dressed up and had ran maybe too much information than people really want to know. She had a stake, a wooden stake, and in Buffy the Vampire Slayer they called it Mr. Pointy,
okay.
And so she called it Mr. Dull. It wasn't a sharp wooden stake, but she was carrying around a wooden stake. So yeah,
carrying a wooden stake around State Street and Halloween's not a good thing.
So then, of course, after dating for a little bit, obviously martial arts was big. I was actually working for a newspaper at the time, but my
wait! You threw a curve.
Yeah, I did.
You were working for a newspaper.
Yep. So when I was in between martial arts systems, my dad and I were running karate classes out of his garage in his house in his neighborhood. So twice a week, we'd back out the car, sweep out the garage, roll out some carpets.
Stop.
It started off with just me, my dad, and a couple of friends getting together and working out. We're like, we weren't associated with a school, so we just wanted to work out together. And then we're out there, we're in my dad's garage sparring. We got pads on, kicking and punching, we're hitting body shield. And the neighbors started walking by, and they're like, "What are you guys doing?" And of course my dad's like, "We're doing karate. Come on over, we'll teach you." And so I had a little mini karate school. At one point we had about 20 students out of my dad's 2.5-car garage.
Oh my
and so Jen, of course, got into it after
she did.
And so yeah, within a couple of months she jumped into it and started training there. But the newspaper part, in between, I actually worked for the Portage Daily Register. Did advertising sales for a couple of years, lived in Portage, and she happened to be a reporter at the Janesville Gazette at the time.
Jen was a reporter?
She was a reporter.
Stop already.
Yep.
No way.
Yep.
I can see her sitting in there. Mr. President, can you answer this question? No.
She made a good reporter. Yeah.
Did she?
Yep, definitely.
And wow, and so she stopped doing that though.
Right, yep.
Why?
Yep.
I can see her.
Change of times.
She's tenacious, man, I tell you.
She is a good inquisitor. Yeah, she is. She definitely knows how to ask the right questions and
not afraid to.
Yeah, not afraid to. Definitely.
Wow.
Yep. So you never know that she is introverted, and so people, while they're surprised at that, the misconception about introversion and that it isn't that people are shy or don't like socializing. I mean, some people can be to that extreme, but it's more that they need alone time and quiet time to recharge. And so she enjoys socializing, loves talking with people, but she also needs some downtime, and that's cool. So you just need a little time to read a book, watch a movie on your own. Where for me, I'm more extroverted. Being around people in a social gathering, that will energize me. But for her, it will drain, and that's the way it is with most introverts.
Now, believe it or not, that her and I are very much alike.
Okay. Yeah.
I love being around people,
right.
And everybody's laughing right now online. They're probably saying, "No, you're not an introvert." I like my time.
Right.
That's why 4:30, 5 o'clock, that's my time.
Yeah.
And I've said to people, I could have the TV on and never watch it. I mean, I could be in front of it, but my head time is there. And
right.
So I'm thinking about 20 different things. The other great place is the shower, of course.
Of course.
Really hot shower. Or we have an infrared that we use, infrared sauna. And I get in there and the creative juices just flow. Man.
Nice.
But you need to recharge. I like being in front of people, though, too.
Right.
At the same time. But it wears me out.
Yep.
And Terry noticed that it's. She says you just crash after that.
Right.
I said the amount of energy it takes me to do that is something else.
Right.
So you know something about me?
Maybe that's it. Yeah.
Wow. So the martial arts, what type are?
So we're a freestyle martial art. We have foundations in Taekwondo.
Okay, there you go.
If you looked at like the way that we kick and move, it would be closest to Taekwondo. Some of my instructors and the instructors from the 80s and 90s in the schools that we were with were more Taekwondo based. But there's also elements of Shotokan, Shorin-ryu, and then we also do a niche style called Matayoshi Kobudo. It's an Okinawan weapon style. We use more Japanese commands than that. We only just do those classes a couple days a week. Mostly we focus on the kids martial arts and family martial arts and adults, and so we do our karate style. But freestyle martial art or Americanized karate, freestyle karate is what people would classify it as.
Okay, I appreciate that. I have to tell you something. Kicks Unlimited is a chamber member, and we just had a coffee chat, as we call it, every Friday. By the way, if you're a member of the chamber, or if you would like to be a guest, you're welcome to go and be included, because we want you to be a part of the chamber. It's powerful to be a part of the chamber as a business person, and I can talk about that at a different time. But here's what I want you to know. And I meant to share it with you the other day and forgot. So in college, I can't remember if I told you about this or I told Jen. My freshman year, we had a choice. We either could take ballet. This was required. We had to either could take ballet or Taekwondo. And I'm like, oh my God. So back in '79, you don't take ballet,
right?
Which I really would have done probably pretty good at. And it was all about flexibility and stretching and all this. And really got into the Taekwondo. And I had an instructor that was, man, he was just relentless in the way of respect.
Right.
Even though we're in a gymnasium, it was a dojo. I mean, and we walked in there, the shoes come off, we're bowing to the sensei, and I mean, we're following. And I walked into your, and this is where I got to tell you the rest of this. I walked into your place, and we have to walk into your dojo to go up the steps. I froze. I actually stopped, and I kept thinking, okay. So I hugged the wall. Honest to God, I wish you had a film of that. I hugged the wall to go up those steps, because I kept thinking I'm disrespecting the area, and I'm like, oh my, and that was a long freaking time ago.
Yep.
Okay.
We take shoes off on the matted areas, but in our lobbies areas, then shoes are fine. But no.
But I came through, and here's the mat.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we entered the room.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm honest to goodness, I kept thinking I should have dropped and done 10, but knuckles. But I want to talk about your programs that you have and get to the meat of this, because what I want to do, folks, if you're watching on Facebook or you're listening on the radio, is I want you to learn about, yes, it's martial arts, but it's more than martial arts. I would say martial arts is a little bit of it, or it's the mechanism to the most important stuff.
Yes.
And I've just touched on a little bit of it because it was instilled in me. But he has a kids martial arts program. He has teen and adult arts. They have an after-school program that is the Mac Daddy of after-school programs. They have a summer camp that no kid should go without. And then, can you imagine doing a birthday party at Kicks Unlimited? I love that. And then I think one of the most important aspects of this is what's called health coaching. And as a 61-year-old man, back when I started in real estate, I realized that I was spending more money on my golf coach than my business coach. And I was really supposed to be focusing on my business. So I changed that. I flipped it a little bit. But then I realized, well, if I really want to be as healthy as I can in the way of my nutrition and physical exercise, my activities, I needed to have a coach there.
Right.
And you and I actually talked about this probably a year and a half ago, something like that. But let's talk about the kids program itself. And where you talk about partners in development.
Right.
What does that mean?
So the saying is that it takes a whole community to raise a child, and that's very important. And you probably know that, when your kids were younger, you tell your kid to do something and they don't want to do it, but then they're whatever person they look up to or admire, or a mentor or a coach, that person tells them to do the same thing, and they're like, oh yeah, okay, it sounds good. And so being able to hear it from multiple sources, I believe that all parents want their kids to grow up to be a model or example of a good, strong person, a good citizen, a successful person in different ways. And that means different things to different people, but they need partners to help them show their kids what it means to be respectful,
right.
What it means to have discipline, what it means to have confidence in themselves, how to act in certain situations, even in martial arts, how to be able to keep your cool under pressure, whether it's something that's physically challenging, as you're working out, practicing a kick, doing your calisthenics, whatever it is, how to push through that challenge even when our mind says you need to stop, you're tired, you got to take a break, how to push through that.
Sure.
Having a coach of some sort to reinforce that of what the parents want, that is really a major part of what we do. The martial arts is just a vehicle, a fun way of making that happen for the kids.
Oh, sure. And I like one of the comments that you say on your website is, we understand the difficulties parents face in raising a child, and you design lessons to target those challenges.
Right.
How do you get them to take the phone out of their hands?
That's definitely a tough one, and especially, it's a growing challenge because kids these days, younger and younger,
sure.
get tablets and screens, and everything has its place. That's important for development because it's part of the world today. But how do we also make sure that they're physically developing and then socially developing, how to work well with others? And so that's part of what we do, is being able to even tie in that, all right, kids, we need to make sure that it's not just screens and fun and games. There's also times to get our work done, to get our physical fitness and our physical development in too.
I think it goes deeper than that, though. I really feel that. For me as a kid, we were talking about this morning, I'm up 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Yep.
I've been doing that since I was a little thing. Yes, folks, I was a little thing once in my life. There was a time in my life when I couldn't put a pound on. Now I can't take them off. I don't know what's going on. But as a farm kid, I can remember, because I had to get up and feed calves.
Right.
I can remember like it was yesterday, because we lived with my grandparents, my mom and I did, and Papa, my grandfather, boy, get up, we got to go. And I said, oh, Papa, I don't want to go. And he says, well, how are the calves going to get fed? They're going to go hungry.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, no, can't you feed them? No, I can't. That's your job. You have to do that. And I remember laying there and talking, and he says, do you want to eat tonight? What if I don't show up? What if Mama doesn't show up? Won't you be hungry?
Yep.
And I remember going, I got to go feed my calves.
Right.
And it stuck with me. Maybe it's not the way a lot of parents would do things, but he was trying to give me just an example, a learning moment, and I'll never forget that. Or milking cows. They're not going to milk themselves, and if you don't, they're hurting.
Right.
They are hurting by not milking them. Those lessons. And kids today, I don't think get those lessons.
Right. Not the same way.
Teaching the responsibility.
Yep.
Teaching what a responsibility is. It's not just showing up. It's showing up and being the best that you can be. Give me everything you got. Being ready. It's not like, well, I passed the test.
Right.
Well, I aced the test. I got a B, but I gave it everything I had.
Right.
Stuff like that. And in your world, it's the same thing. They're learning, first of all, to show up,
mm-hmm.
how to dress appropriately, being on time, respect to their sensei. Mm-hmm. They're learning do you call them kata? Are they katas? Or
Forms.
Forms,
yep.
Okay. They're learning that, and then they're learning that it's not just completing it, it's how you do it.
Right.
Talk about that. I'm probably talking for you.
A little side note: Jen grew up on a farm, so she had the morning chores.
I love that. I knew that about her. So. Gosh, no wonder you got the house you have now.
Right. Yeah. Just like you said, most of what we do is more about self-improvement than it is. I mean, the self-defense that one learns in a martial art it's a great skill to have, very important, but most people are not going to have to face a type of physical altercation where they really have to defend themselves. If I go off in a self-defense tangent, it's going to be more about the social interaction, how to de-escalate, how to also have a thick skin. I mean, people are mean, you know. And I thought once I got out of middle school and high school that the bullying would stop.
No.
But like just people in general, we run into rude people all the time that say mean things or continuously poke and pick. And I'm like,
just watch TV.
Right? Yeah. It's like, sorry kids, it's going to keep on happening. But also knowing that we can rise above that and be able to have that thick skin. So it's more I mean, I don't have a statistic, but it's way more likely that a child is going to get bullied, and not just somebody being rude or cutting in front of him in line or bumping him in the hallway, but consistently day after day someone saying mean things, whether it's on social media or whether it's in person, picking at them over and over and over, and being able to navigate that situation, both controlling their emotions, being able to have the thick skin, but also being able to advocate for themselves and speak up both to the bully, but also maybe to a parent or to a teacher and say, look, this is happening. And I know from personal experience, that's part of why I got into martial arts and continue with martial arts was bullying both at, whether it was in elementary, but especially middle school and high school.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I was a part of the anti-bullying collaborative we
Right.
had here in Sun Prairie. I don't even know if it's around anymore. But bullying has been the forefront. That's the leading subject in our schools in that.
Right.
I made the comment at one of our meetings. I said, bullying is actually needed.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, what are you talking about? Nobody needs to be bullied. I said, yeah, I agree with that. But to develop as an individual, you need to learn how to handle conflict. And conflict can be a difficult discussion between adults or kids or something like that. But you need to learn how to handle it. And that's what you've just said.
Right.
Yes, bullying mean? Absolutely. Again, just turn on TV. Go watch the Flintstones.
Right. Right.
We saw what Fred used to do to Barney all the time, and or the Honeymooners. We're going to go back that far, or we can go to Friends, or how many shows we want to talk about,
Right.
But it's learning how to deal with conflict. And I'm sure in your life, I mean, people in business that, man, they just don't, conflict happens? I got a good friend. He can't deal with it.
Right.
He won't deal with it.
Right.
My own spouse, she won't deal with it. She's getting better, and she's a special ed teacher.
Right.
But she doesn't like the conflict.
It's one of the hardest things we have to do.
Oh my gosh. And learning, it's not about being weak. It's not about being subservient. I think it's more about how to handle it in a very strategic way.
Right.
And it's not about going to Kicks Unlimited and learning martial arts and then kicking somebody's butt, because it doesn't always happen that way.
Right.
You might get your butt kicked. It's not about the violence. It's about preventing the violence.
Yes.
And then protecting yourself when you have to.
Right. Well, if you go way back to the Karate Kid, I probably won't get that right exactly, but
the
original
45 minutes, buddy,
Mr.
before we talk
Miyagi.
about
But
that.
it's the Daniel-san is asking Mr. Miyagi, like, well, we're learning how to fight so we can fight, and he says, no, we learn how to fight so we don't have to fight, and we learn how to. And I don't like using the word fight because one of the major principles is like, we don't fight. You are not aggressive. You are not a person who's going to be starting something. But at the same time, we don't want somebody to be intimidated. And that's usually where bullying can come from, is when there's an intimidation of a physical threat or believing that the person might harm you, whether they would or not. That's many times where it comes from. And so having an innate or an internal confidence that I know how to protect myself. I know I don't need to
Sure.
All right, and that's a lot of where it comes from. Is I know that I don't need to show my physical prowess in any way, but if push came to shove and I had to protect myself, I know what to do.
So how do you build confidence for kids? Because here's what Michelle Williams says. Both of my kids go to Kicks Unlimited. My daughter became more patient, and my son's confidence in himself soared.
Right.
So how do you build that in a kid?
Right. Much of it is going to come from the way that our instructors interact.
What do you mean by that?
So, well, a basic thing that we do, that we teach as part of our instructor training program, is to challenge and then to acknowledge, challenge and acknowledge. And where, all right, they're executing a kick, let's say, all right, can you kick that much higher? And then, of course, you ask him for that much, and then, of course, the student goes this much higher. Yes, great, that's what I'm talking about. Well done, keep doing that. You circle back around, are they still doing it? Did they maintain that, or did they go back down, right? All right, maybe they maintained it. Great, you're still doing it. Show me a little bit more.
Okay.
So we're challenging them to do better. What that does for a student's confidence is they see that when they push themselves, they can achieve it. Much of confidence, there's so many impacts in that in both in child and adult development, but maybe they've failed, or maybe they have they've faced challenges in the past, and then there was a negative outcome, and then also how the people around them, whether it was parents or other kids or friends or siblings, the way that they react, was a child put down when they failed, or were they encouraged, right? And so sometimes there's a hesitation to start that new challenge because they don't have the confidence. They think, oh, well, I'm going to fail the way that I did before. And whether they can mentally look back to that event, or whether it's just kind of it's just been like seated in them, like that's just the way it is. So we're able to challenge them in a safe space, and then also where their challenge is not going to if they don't accomplish it, it's not going to affect the people around them. In martial arts, it's a group activity, but it's very much an individual thing.
Sure.
Whereas, if you're playing on a team, and I played soccer for a couple years when I was young. We won an entire season, didn't win an entire game, and I remember that, and I'm like, yeah, maybe soccer isn't my thing. So I learned how to kick pads and kick people instead of kicking soccer balls. But being able to know, okay, I can try here, and even if I don't meet that challenge, or even don't accomplish it, that's okay. I'm going to learn, I'm going to get better, I'll get stronger, and I know where I'm trying to go to.
And do you try to tie that in with life messages or any kind of, you're coaching them at the same time.
Right.
Yes, you're going through an exercise, an activity. Then how do you tie it to real life?
Right. Yeah.
That's the thing,
Right. So we have,
because they go back with their parents.
Absolutely.
And that's the problem.
Yeah, they get to be with us, 30, 45 minutes, a couple days a week, and then they're with their parents the rest of the time. But really, that's all they need. Be able to have that motivation, that push, that little time outside, and believe it or not, kids are listening to you. Now anybody who's heard a toddler drop a swear word before knows that your kids are listening to you, but they're watching, and even when it seems like they're not listening, or they're not doing what you're asking them to, or what you're trying to teach them, they are absorbing it all. And
absolutely.
So when they get that outside reinforcement from the people that they, I guess, look up to, outside of their parents. Most kids look up to their parents in certain ways,
Sure.
But also having those outside people, again, their coaches, their teachers, their clergy, their troop leaders, their martial arts instructors. They see something they want to aspire to, and so those words just they hit a little bit harder, and it reinforces what the parents are already trying to teach at home.
I like what you say. Through psychology, Eastern wisdom practiced for generations, and patience, we help kids reach new heights of development.
Right.
I love that, man. That is just so cool. I think it's so quick, or so easy today in our society, where we tear down people instead of building them up.
Right.
And it's like, as a young adult, I learned that it was okay to fail. Yeah, that was the first time I was hearing
That's great.
about it. But because before that, in swimming and all the swimming I did and all that, it wasn't about losing. It was about winning.
Right.
but I can still hear my mom. I'd get done with a race and I might have set a record or something like that, and I can look at her and I can still see her face going, and how did it feel? Were you okay with that? Was it everything you had?
Right. Right. That's great.
Thanks, Mom, I guess. But I won. But how did it feel? She goes, it looked like you hung up in a corner, in a turn. I'm like, oh my gosh. The coaches are giving us high fives and all that. Then you walk over to the real coach, and then the real coach is like, yeah, you hung up in that last turn. I think you've got at least a half second left in you. I'm like, what?
Right.
I'm still trying to catch my breath and stuff. But that's the thing I'm saying is that, so you're working with your coach at Kicks Unlimited, and then you come home, and then they're not making their bed. They're not taking their trash out. They're not doing their homework.
Yep.
They're on their screens too much.
Right.
And this is probably where I was saying to you that you and Christine Bright, Parenting Game and Kicks Unlimited, go very well together.
Right.
Because you're going to train the kids, she's going to train the parents. And if those two together, oh my gosh, I mean, that's a win. We could change the world with you two together.
We'll have to look into that connection.
It's a great connect. And she's a chamber member.
Right.
Yeah, she's a chamber. Wonderful lady. Love her to death. She's got a program that makes me think. And wait, you're teaching me how to be a parent? Well, about damn time, Where you been?
Right.
I have two grown guys that forget how to call their dad once in a while. Oh man, I'm just really excited about it because I think we need to have more structure in our kids' lives, but also our teen and adult lives.
Right.
So let's switch some gears on this one because, I mean, with the teens and adults, you're getting into more of the. I'm going to go back to structure.
Yep.
Here's what we expect from you.
Right.
This is when you're going to have it. You're due here on Tuesday, 7 o'clock. Don't be late.
Right.
I'm sensing this. I've never been to your place and watched you operate. I just feel that about you.
Right.
It's what I know about you. You're really providing a workout that for a lifetime.
Right. It's those very important developmental years where teenagers, they find themselves, they find their personalities, they're figuring out how to fit in, and having them fit in with the right group. We all know people, back from our school years who you saw certain potential and then they fell in with a different group and that potential was lost. And then you also see people who maybe have broken out of that and they shot off in a different direction. So having people who are there to help them on the right path, they're working towards something that is constructive and positive. And then of course I mentioned that martial arts, while it's a group activity, it's also individual based.
Sure.
And so they're able to work and better themselves, but also being around other people who they see are trying to better themselves too. So especially for our teenagers, it's just very crucial to have that support.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's so many what's the word I want to use? Negatives around our teens,
right?
That they need something. They need that little pop, inside the head. Okay, that wasn't. I'll get calls about that one. Wait, you're trying to hit kids? Yeah. Well, no, I'm not. But they need that wake up call sometimes.
Right.
And sometimes they just need somebody to look at them and go, "Why are you doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you doing that?"
Right.
And to have a kid in a structured activity, whether I don't know if it's swimming or football, band. Oh my gosh, band. Oh my gosh, there's a tough one. Flags of Freedom for our. I can't remember what it was called for some Prairie. I think it disbanded too. Man, these kids during the summer, 8 hours a day.
Oh, you're talking about Sound of Sun Prairie?
Sound of Sun Prairie.
Yes.
There you go.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Now that's dedication.
Yep.
That's similar to what we're talking about, and we need that in our teens.
Right.
And we need it in adults because we forget. Because
Right.
It's very easy just to eat that ham sandwich and sit down on the couch and watch TV.
You mentioned the proverbial slap in the back of the head like Gibbs on.
Yeah, exactly. NCIS.
NCIS, yeah.
One of my favorite shows, by the way.
Hey, mine too. Jen's too. So a perfect example with one of our teenagers. Mom was dropping him off for class, and he's kind of getting ready for class, and Mom said something. I forget what it was about. Hey, hey, reminder that we're gonna blah blah blah. Whatever it was, and the kid didn't acknowledge, and so 5 seconds later, Mom says, "Hey, did you hear me?" And of course, typical teenager, geez, yes, I heard you. And I happened to be there, and I said, "Hold on." I said, "You need to acknowledge your mom. You didn't acknowledge her. So how does she know that you heard her?" And then I said, in class, when I give you an instruction, when I tell you to do something, how do you answer? Of course, the answer, yes, sir. That's how we do it. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. And while they're doing it, and he says, yes, sir. And I said, you need to acknowledge your mom. When she tells you something, if you heard her, you acknowledge her. So it's a little proverbial. Just, hey, check your attitude, check your behavior. You need to follow these things through.
Yeah, even at 60, I need to do that.
Another big impact for our teenagers and adults, it's something rare that you can do together with family. And so my dad still does martial arts. He's 76 years old.
Does he really?
He started when he was 46.
Okay.
So, we have parents that sit in our lobby and they watch their, 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds.
Uh-huh.
We start as young as 4, but they watch their kids. And so we'll poke them every once in a while, like, hey, you want to get out there? And oh no, I can't do that, or oh no, I'm out of shape, I need to lose weight first. No, I'm like, the way you do these things is by doing it, right? You need to step out there.
Sure.
But and so my whole family at one point was involved in martial arts. Only my dad is still active in it. But my dad got involved at age 46 and earned his black belt. Just kept on going, and
Sure.
so still at 76 years old, he comes in and he does our cardio kickboxing class, and then he does sparring afterwards. Just half a dozen of us, kicking and punching, and it's a good time. Yeah.
I was preparing for this, and I kept thinking, should I? And I can hear Terry going, one more thing?
Right.
One more thing? When are you going to find time for this? And her comment is, what are you going to give up for that?
Right.
If I get a T-shirt, which one am I going to get rid of?
Yep.
Well, I'm a guy. I don't get rid of T-shirts. I carry all that baggage with me. But I appreciate what you're saying on that, and you're right. I mean, it can be. It's not about fighting. That's
right.
the thing. It's not about violence. It's not about fighting. Well,
I'm not sure if that stigma still sticks around with martial arts much anymore. So some do when they see like the UFC and the mixed martial arts and things like that, and there are gyms out there that do that, and like there's a time and a place for that, and it takes a certain person to go into that. But most martial arts schools are not doing that type of thing. They're all the sparring is very controlled. Light contact, because most people don't want to get hit. And
sure.
there isn't. I don't think there's quite the same stigma as there used to be. That it was. You're going into the Cobra Kai dojo,
yes,
and they're
Cobra Kai.
And it's 1, 2 push-ups, go, and they're blocking and hurting each other, and it's like that doesn't happen. Not as much anymore. There are some schools out there that still train like that, and again, there's a time and a place, and there's certain value to that intense training. But for the masses and for the majority of people, no, it's not about that. They're looking for something different. And that's what most of the karate schools, modern martial arts schools, provide.
Man, we sparred without pads.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
No shot, no punches to the head, no kicks to the head.
Right.
Man, your body was there. No kicks to the leg.
Yep.
You couldn't hit it, you couldn't sweep a knee, anything like that. And I was looking at some of the pictures. You got pads. I'm like, wow, that'd be cool.
Yep.
But it hurts.
Right.
When you kick somebody.
No, that's a main goal is control. So the sparring that we do now is like a game of tag. And so
Okay.
I say, hey, when you're out there tagging your friends, you're not like pushing them hard, tag,
Sure.
you're knocking them over. It's just a light tap.
Right.
And so with our sparring specifically, they're throwing their kicks and punches at each other. They're trying to make contact in the body or come close to the head. We don't allow head contact in our kids' classes. With adults, we allow light head contact, but again, it's not like you're getting your head rattled. So
No, but that's the control.
right, exactly.
Again,
Yep.
that's the respect, and
Right.
that's being accountable to the person you're sparring with. I mean,
Right.
the trust that I'm going to do exactly what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
And I think that's a huge message.
And we save the hard hitting for the heavy bags and the body shields and the
go.
hand targets. And
sure.
That's where they get to hit hard.
You know, you talk about, well, we know about personal development. I mean, even at 46, 60, it doesn't matter. It's still, any little development is important in our lives.
Right.
You really want to do something and get into it. It's going to take, depending on who you talk to, 33 to 66 days, getting into that routine.
Right.
And you and I were talking, and the listeners all know that. So Craig Kuchenbecker and I have been training for over a year together, and with a group of guys. There's 5 of us that are there. I wouldn't miss it for the world. I mean, when I have to miss because of like Groundhog Day or something like that, and they want to get me to get up early, be on the radio, but it kills me because I go back later and I work out.
Yep.
Because I missed that day, or if I get hurt. I mean, I tweaked a knee, I dislocated a shoulder.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my gosh, last year was so painful, and bench pressing. It had 225 up and dislocated my left shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
And tore the rotator again for the 3rd time.
Oof.
I know, not good. But
So, yeah, that weightlifting stuff, that's dangerous. You should do
know.
something safe like martial arts.
yeah, you read my mind. Hey, Rachel, can you pull that for me? You're awesome. Good morning, Rachel. Rachel Packard coming into the studio, or coming into the building, not the studio. Well, no, you need to have weights. Got to do weights.
Definitely.
You got to do it. You got to maintain strength, and the older you get, you definitely do.
Right.
Terry's doing it. It's amazing to watch what she can do. In fact, we were talking about, Craig and I were talking about this, and I'd love to talk about Terry. I have to tell you. We were out, so every Sunday we do our runs. You know,
Yep.
I go to church, and then we do Costco, Aldi's, and if we have to go to Woodman's, yuck. But it's usually Costco and Aldi's. Well, we picked up kitty litter and it's like a 45-pound thing of kitty litter. Yes, we have 2 cats, and we have a dog. Yes, I'm not changing kitty litter. I don't. I love my cats and they love me, but I don't know. That dust just kills me. She reached down and grabbed the kitty litter, and it was maybe a month ago, maybe 2 months. Picked that up, and I said, "Well, let me get it." Before I could get there, she picked it up, lifted it up, and put it into the cart like it was nothing.
Oh.
And I had sat back and I laughed at her. She goes, "What are you laughing at?" And I said, "A year ago, you couldn't have done that. You would have put it on the bottom rack, and it would have taken you some effort to do that."
Yes.
And she's like, huh.
Yep.
But it's important, I think, as we get older, that you just need to do that. Now, she combines the weights with yoga. She does a lot of yoga.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah. Bill, I'm not as fond of yoga. I get bored with yoga.
I've only done it a couple of times, so I enjoyed the classes, but that's something that I didn't just get into.
I know what you would recommend I do.
Right.
See? Oh my goodness. Hey, your after school program, talk about that. What's that all about?
Yeah. So
is that every day?
Every day,
okay.
Yep. Every school day, we serve a handful of schools, elementary schools right here in Sun Prairie, and
only elementary.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. 1st through 5th grade. We have a couple of kindergartners, but our spots are limited there. So we will pick up the kids directly from the schools. They hop in our vans and bus, and we bring them back, and we facilitate like a little bit of snack time, and then we teach them martial arts classes, and then parents pick them up when they're ready to come. So yeah.
Wait, I heard 2 things there.
Yes.
You pick them up.
Right from school. Yeah.
You feed them.
They bring snacks, but
they bring snacks.
Yeah, they bring their snacks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then they get to do some fun stuff.
Absolutely.
That
Yep.
involves martial arts.
Yep.
Well, what kind of stuff do they get to do? Now, do they have to change clothes?
Yep.
They bring their own gis?
Right. So yeah, we provide that for them, and
cool.
they put on their uniforms. A gi is exactly what it's called, and and so they get a martial arts class usually 3 days a week, and then we incorporate some other activities too. So we'll do a little bit of like tumbling and gymnastics type things. We have a variety of coaches, and one of them teaches a little bit of dance, and so
cool.
so we'll incorporate that sometimes. So yeah, we like to do a variety of activities because it's important to we want them to have variety, right? So we want to have a good after school program where it's going to be of interest to all kids, and it's not only focused on martial arts, but that is our main focus, is just building that physical activity and making sure that, after being in school all day, they have an outlet for some of that energy.
So how many kids do you have in the program?
We currently have 26 kids, and it varies on days. Our busiest days we have 23, so we're actually at capacity at the moment. We're looking to expand. We just want to expand and bring on another coach to to work with a classroom of kids, and then of course that means adding another van, and maybe visiting another school or increasing from another school. So
didn't you just pick up a van in Georgia?
Yeah, a little mini bus. We went down to Atlanta. We flew down to Atlanta and picked up a mini bus, a 14-passenger bus, and we drove it home.
We don't have mini buses in Wisconsin?
They've got to be the right thing, so,
I think it was more of a journey for you guys.
It was a good time, yeah. Nice little road trip with me and Jen,
Oh my gosh, I can't remember a time when the both of you are not smiling, especially when you're together.
We have fun,
You're a great team. You really are a great team. Talk about I'd love to have more kids in that program. That would be cool.
Right, yeah.
And you'll probably need a bigger space.
Everyone says that. We're definitely not moving, so we're definitely going to utilize the space that we have. So we actually have the building we have is 4,000 square feet footprint, and then we have a mezzanine, like an upper area, that's almost another 2,000 square feet. So we have about 6,000 square feet. The floor, the matted area, is close to, I think it's about 2,800 square feet.
Oh wow!
Which
it's a lot of room.
The matted area is actually as big as our first location. So yeah, it was very happy to expand when we did.
Oh my gosh! Well, that's cool. Talk about the summer program. How does that work?
Yeah, so summer camps.
Are you still limited on that number of kids, or?
I'm not sure where we're at with enrollments on that. I think about the same number, and then once it reaches that, we'll see if we want to bring in another coach and bring in another dozen kids or so after that. So same thing with the summer camp. So we do a variety of outdoor sports activities. Fortunately, we're right across the street from Sheehan Park, which is awesome.
Exactly.
So they get lots of outside time. Martial arts pretty much every day, and then field trips too. So if we'll go to different places, like maybe
the pool.
We don't go to the pools. Splash pads. Yeah, we'll go to splash pads, but no swimming. It's just a safety thing. And if parents want to take their kids for swimming lessons, we'll let them do that. But we'll stick to splash pads.
Okay.
But yeah, field trips, whether it's to a park or to an indoor play area. Legacy Academy, our Kicks Elemented School in Fitchburg, is right next door to Legacy Academy, which is a huge indoor play area. So that's been a fun one. Maybe go right here to Prairie Kids Club there with Jen Mead, and that's an awesome place.
That's a great.
We'll do some field trips with the kids, and so yeah, they get to spend a day with us. And our goal is that. We like to say, we have a chant, and we say, we are, and the kids say, the best. Hard work pays off. We never give up. And so we're instilling that every single day, and our goal is to take many of the values that we teach in martial arts, but to get it to a wider variety of kids. So if I bounce back, both the summer camps and after school program, many parents who are busy. They have their own schedules. They have maybe both parents are employed, and the schedules don't allow them to be with their kids right after school, or they don't allow them to be with their kids during the summer. We are able to give a positive place for the kids to be, and then being able to let the side benefits, the psychological and developmental benefits of martial arts, some of that, there's all the buzzwords of discipline and respect and focus and confidence, and we want that to roll over into everything that we do.
And socialization.
Yes, exactly.
And respect of socialization.
Right.
And it comes back to bullying. There isn't any.
Right.
There isn't any. But
so when we talk about having the best kids, it's not that they're always going to be on their best behavior 100%, right? We all know, like, oh yeah, we have great kids, but every so often they goof off. Well, parents feel that way. Their kids are good, and then all of a sudden they go in public and their kid is just off the wall for some reason, right? Yeah. So it's the same thing. There's lots of personalities and varieties, and of course there's behavior things that we work through with the kids, but we want them to be the best and know that they are striving to be a better person than they were yesterday.
Something that Alex is my youngest.
Yep.
He's now former Navy, but he grew up with the thing about Lombardi time. I mean, it's like he knows I'm always early. It doesn't matter what I'm always early. If I'm late, somebody died or something tragic. I mean, because I like being early, and for me, it's my way. I'm ahead of the game. I'm prepped and I'm ready. I've got the environment, and it's just what I am. So I've taught that. I've instilled it. It's still with him at 28.
Awesome.
28, yeah. But we used to have things like he had to make his bed. He had to keep his room straight. Everything has its place, as we call it. When you're finished with something, put it away. Put it where it belongs.
Right.
Stuff like that. And he lived a double life because he did this at our house, but then he'd go to his mom's house, and there were no rules.
Right.
There were no rules. And then he got to the Navy. And one of the biggest compliments my son has ever paid me, if you call it paid, or given me, is he came up to me, he says, making the bed, he says, I get it. I understand now why you had me do that.
Yep.
And I said, well, it's just to make your room look pretty. No, it wasn't, Dad. It was to start my day off the right way.
Right.
I'm like, what? Oh my God. Where'd this come from, you know? When did he get so smart?
Yep.
And
they're listening.
They're listening. That's right. They're learning. And it may not be now, but it may be later that where it kicks in. But I like the structure of your camps and that too, the activities, and there are a lot of camps. I mean, there's YMCA, there's the camp here. We have a camp for the kids 4, which that's older kids, 14 and older. But I think your camp would be pretty cool.
Definitely. Yep.
Absolutely cool. Wow. Hey, talk about birthday parties. What was that all about? I saw that. I'm like, birthday parties, really?
Yeah. Oh, geez, we have some fun birthday parties. So there's you think about the back in my day, like the Chuck E. Cheese, the Showbiz Pizza was the place to go, and you look at sitcoms and movies, and it's like birthday parties are absolute chaos. The parents do so much planning. They've got the cake and the candles and the decoration and this and that, and then the kids are running everywhere, making noise, making a mess, and that's kind of the stereotype. So one of the best things we do is we interact with the kids. So our instructors basically, all that the parents need to do is bring the kids in the cake, and we do the best. We do the rest.
Yeah, like Chuck E. Cheese.
And so, they come in, we talk to the kids, we run both a karate lesson and games with them, so it's very interactive. It's interactive with the parents too. We ask the parents, stick around, and it's an hour and a half, so it's not like it's a long birthday party. The parents get to socialize with each other, and then they get to see what the kids are doing. So we play games with them that are martial arts themed. We teach them some basic martial arts, and not just the blocks and the kicks and punches, but we're talking about the words of respect that we use, and the mentality that we have, and so they're getting a little bit of that too. And then of course we have cake and pizza, so it's all included. So birthday parties are a lot of fun, and we usually get the feedback from the parents. It was like, this was the easiest birthday party. Like we provide invitations for them. I mean, it's very all inclusive, and it makes it very simple for the parents.
Do you have a lot of birthday parties?
We run them mainly on Saturdays. We do karate classes in the morning on Saturdays, and then we'll do birthday parties in the afternoon. And so almost every week we'll have a birthday party going on. Sometimes we'll do 2 in a day.
Saturdays, no Sundays.
Yeah. Right. So we run karate classes Monday through Thursday, and then also Saturdays. And so we got to give our instructors days off too. Yeah.
Kids need it.
Yeah.
They need it. Wow.
We might, if there's a big demand. We have some awesome teenagers who they've been with us since they were young kids, and now they're black belts in second degree, and they're instructing. And so if they're up for it, we'll schedule them.
I want to do this. We're going to reset the show.
All right.
I'll take a little break here, and then get some updates that are going on. Then I want to talk to you about the obtaining belts.
Sure.
How do you do that?
Yeah.
And then for about the last 30 minutes, I want to talk about health coaching.
Okay.
For you, and talk about the successes that you've experienced and the lives you've changed.
Right.
With what you're doing. So let's do this. Hey, you're listening to 103.5 WLSP, The Sun, right here in beautiful Sun Prairie. Glad you're with us. WLSP, The Sun. Don't know why that was happening.
Two things overlapping.
Good morning, Seth Prairie, and welcome to Vegas.
There's a microphone on somehow.
Now here's your host, Bill Baker.
Hey, thanks, Lisa. Appreciate that. My producer, Miss Lisa Wolf. Oh my gosh, I gotta turn that off. I don't know how or why that's happening, but I'm getting a lot of feedback on that. It's killing me over here. Hey, I want you to know this. On the 15th of February, yep, that's this Wednesday, I need you to stop what you're doing, come over to Culver's at the new location and get some vittles, get some food, buy something, 5 to 8 p.m. because that's the night for the Sun Prairie Media Center. That's our fundraiser night, and it's a night of giving for Culver's and the Oxford location over by the West High School. 5 to 8 p.m. I'll be there with a slew of different personalities. Not my different personalities. Other radio and TV personalities will be there. Stop over and join us, would you? And really, your involvement in this, if coming over and getting some French fries, if that helps, that's cool. Get a Butterburger, that's okay too. Whatever your dietary pleasure is, stop over and pick some stuff up. And we'd love to have you there and learn a little bit maybe more about what's going on in Sun Prairie and with the Media Center. We appreciate to do that.
What night was that again?
Whoops, sorry.
Oh yeah.
What?
What night was that again?
Wednesday. The day after Halloween, Valentine's Day. Did you get Jen a present?
We don't.
You don't exchange
Yeah,
presents?
we don't. No. We do other things, but
Yeah.
we work with it's a forced holiday.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
Yeah,
so
it's a Hallmark holiday.
Right. We'll still go on a date, but you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hear you. Hey, Asher's Heart Fundraiser. This 8th annual event raises money for the UW Children's Hospital, neonatals, intensive care, and congenital heart defect areas, and features raffles, t-shirt sales, and more from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. on Saturday, February 18th at Varsity Bar and Grill, located right on West Main Street. See the Varsity Bar and Grill Facebook page for details. Sun Prairie Jazz Fest concert. Celebrate the end of Sun Prairie's 30th annual day-long jazz clinic featuring jazz musicians, clinicians, students, jazz musicians by attending the concert at 7 p.m. on Saturday, February 18th in the auditorium at Sun Prairie West High School, which is located on Ironwood Drive. Purchase tickets in advance at app.artspeople.com index or see the Sun Prairie Band's Facebook page for more details. Just check the date on this. Okay, Mediterranean dinner demonstration. Get this. Local chef Huma Sigdigwa presents his cooking demo of 2 great Mediterranean dishes, harissa shrimp and saja masala, and Mediterranean couscous. That's what it is. Oh man, Terry would love this. This would be a great thing. And garbanzo beans. I love those. I love garbanzo beans, but they give me gas though. No, that's still a good time. Come on. During the event from 6:30 to 7:30 on Wednesday, February 22nd, in the community room of the Sun Prairie Public Library here in Linroo Drive, right next to the Media Center, registered attendees will receive a free copy of the recipes to take home. So register in advance. SunPrairieLibrary.com event Mediterranean dinner demo. Please check the Stars newspaper for more updates and other things happening in our great town. The 2 things you're not going to forget. One is Sunshine Supper tonight. The other one is on the 15th, 5 to 8, Culver's West location on Oxford. And come over, stop by, say hi, and enjoy a night of Culver's cuisine. Butterburgers and custard.
If you want to keep it lean and green, you get their chicken cashew salad.
Exactly.
Very good.
Exactly. I used to eat those all the time. And Dwayne Sprecher said, my numbers are down. Can you buy some Butterburgers? I said, no, dude. You need to take a break too, buddy. Come on. So it's going to be a good time. Come on out and say hi at least. We would appreciate it. Okay, so this is going to be about something that that I'm a part of. I've been doing this for several years, and I've been very blessed to surround myself with some wonderful people that can help me. And the thing to realize about your health is that you do not know it all. You can't learn it on DIY. You can't typically learn everything you need to learn by watching a video. If you're on Facebook, you see all the, I call them scam videos, because they get you to go watch the video before they tell you what they're going to tell you, and then you're there 20 minutes later, and I'm gone already. I'm gone. You know, if you've got diabetes, or you're insulin dependent, or it's the one thing that could change all that. Yeah, and solve world peace too, I guess.
There we go.
Some of them, there's just something else. But here's the thing you need to know: you need health coaching. You really do, and it could save your life. It could change your life in a way you have no idea. And you all know, because you've been on this show for so long, and you know the struggles that I've had, and where I used to focus on my weight, and I still to a point do that, but then I don't realize how much I've put on. And good weight. I put muscle weight on this. So I'm going to talk to Seth about this, because he and Jen have a coaching program that is really a better way to be a better you. And how in the world did you get started on this? Because I saw your transformation,
right,
and it was absolutely amazing, my friend.
If anybody wants to see a picture, just look for me on Facebook. It's a pretty unique name, Seth Degan, Degnan, and feel free to follow me here, send me a friend request. But I have my personal story. I'll try to be brief.
Don't be brief. You got 30 minutes.
All right,
Dude.
We're already in an hour and a half. I was like, where did that time go? So we got on program almost exactly 3 years ago, and I dropped 45 pounds. I went from a BMI that was in a clinically obese range down to a healthy BMI, and I've now maintained that ever since.
Okay.
And so my struggle with weight, I've always been an active person, right? We're sitting here talking about martial arts.
Sure.
Not only am I doing martial arts training, but teaching, but I do other things too. We do water skiing and hiking and other fun activities. And while I've been an active person my whole life, I would just gradually add on more weight, and so it was, for me, it was a little bit of a disconnect. Like, I am trying to talk to our students about having a healthy body and things like that, but I don't feel like I'm showing it on the outside. I was also a very picky eater, and so I knew that was if you would have met me 3 years ago, I didn't eat vegetables. For me, if there was like a piece of broccoli on my plate, I would find it gross. And it was almost a running joke in my family, oh yeah, if it grows out of the ground, Seth isn't going to eat it, unless it's a potato and you deep fry it, And so it was really an amazing transformation. But the program that we found, the way that we discovered it, we have a lot of connections through martial arts, and Jen, we had a friend, an associate on Facebook, and of course Jen was watching him. He was popping up in her feed, and saw him just shed his excess body fat, and then he started talking about better sleep, better energy. And for Jen, she's pretty small stature, 5'2.5". That half is important.
100 nothing.
About 116, 15 something right now. So no, she's proud of it. She's proud of it, because she dropped about 20 pounds on program, and on that small frame, it makes a big difference. But for her, it wasn't about weight itself. She was here, and our friend Mike talked about better sleep, better energy, because for her, she just felt tired all the time. And honestly, I was too. I love my coffee. I would be drinking coffee at 4 or 5 p.m. to power me through my afternoon of karate classes.
Oh, wow.
And then, of course, there was a cycle, and then, of course, I'm staying up late. Now, as a martial artist, most people's 9 to 5, mine is more like a 1 to 10, a 1 to 9, because we teach classes until 8:30, and then, of course, there's cleanup at the karate school, school, and a lot of times I'm not getting home until 9 or 10.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, she said, "Hey Seth, I think Mike's onto something." She more or less Facebook watched him for about a year, and then we talked to him. He told us about the program, and he was like, it gets your nutrition right, provides some food, but then it shows you how to eat healthy above and beyond that, and total transformation. I was a fast food guy between our 3 karate schools. Every day driving back and forth. I'm just going to stop, and my food decisions were they weren't, should I eat should I prepare my chicken and rice, or should I prepare my beef and broccoli. My food decision was, am I going to go to Arby's or Culver's or Mac's or whatever it was. And again, being a picky eater,
sure,
it's even harder to eat healthy, and so that was a limiting belief holding me back, because I was a picky eater. I just needed to learn how to eat the right way, and then also get my body and my palate off of the refined, super processed American diets that we have. It is so hard. A slice of bread, I don't know about my mom used to bake bread, and then of course her mom, like store-bought bread, she
Wonder Bread,
right? It was
Wonder Bread,
right, and
you
so
make dough balls.
So bread was very different when you're making it at home out of whole wheat flour versus what we tend to buy from the store, And so while you think that people back in the '60s weren't eating bread, or weren't eating potatoes, of course they were. We just happened to refine it, take all the nutrition out, and then it inflames our body and causes an insulin spike and things like that, and then our body does what it's supposed to do. When our insulin gets spiked and our blood sugar gets spiked, it then retains that as excess body fat. That's what it does. And so that's what I've been doing to my own body. And like Jen, I didn't have the energy, even though I was very active. It is so hard to lose weight just based on physical activity. We work out for maybe 1 hour a day. Well, what are you doing the other 15 waking hours?
Exactly.
And in our American society, usually we're eating junk. And it's hard to get away from it.
Right. Well, the comment is, I worked out.
Right. Yes.
Well, okay. Calories in, calories out.
Right.
There's another phrase.
And then what happens is you work out, and your body goes, "Oh, gee, you're hungry now. You've worked out so hard." And then instead of us keeping our calorie intake, our nutrition at the same level, we tend to increase it, and then we've just offset what we've worked out.
Yeah. I agree. Hang on a second.
Yep.
I got that tickle in my throat. Talking about food, and it choked me up. In my life, before Craig Kuchenbecker, I worked out with Aaron Barth, in a class called Ripped. And then on top of that, I had a lady, Angela Knoll, who did all my meals. 5 meals a day during the week, and then the weekends were mine. And then I was being taught at the same time of what I should be eating and what I shouldn't be eating.
Right.
It was cool. So I was spending probably $250 a week on food, but all I had to do is go to the fridge and pull it out.
Yep.
It was to the point where, I'm working out 3 days a week during the weekdays, and then 1 day on the weekend. Sundays were always off. And she color-coded them green or red. Green for workout days, red no workout days. So red was for stop. And so I'd have my pre-meal workout, my pre-workout meal, and then I'd have my post-workout meal.
Right.
Then I'd have a snack. Then I'd have a lunch. My lunch was actually on me, and then I had what I had to do. And then I had an afternoon snack, and I was eating so much food, I couldn't believe it. It almost made me sick to eat so much food. And what I didn't know is, you need to do that. You need to keep the body running. You got to keep it, that furnace bowl, chugging along, and then at night let it rest.
Yep.
Let it rest. A fun story. I think it's a fun story. It's about me. I'm making fun of myself again. That's why. A friend of ours who we lost a bunch of years ago, Renee Wellhouse, was a naturopath over on River Road in Windsor. And I played golf with her and her husband, Don Becker. Don is like a 1 handicap, and he and we won the club championship at Cherokee together. And so we used to do a lot of things, and my ex-wife, Jean, and I would do things. So we went to Anna's Pizza one night, and we hadn't been married that long, maybe, 10, 12 months at the time. And I remember Renee looking over and going, I said, well, how's married life? And I said, well, it must be pretty good. She put about 10, 12 pounds on me. And she went silent. And I'm like, okay, what's wrong? And she says, nothing. I said, no, Renee, tell me, what's wrong? She goes, answer me this. Do you still play golf? I go, yeah. She goes, how many days? I'm playing like 3 days a week. Are you running? Sure, I run probably 2-3 days a week also, maybe a mile or two. Oh. She goes, are you walking still when you play golf? Yep. And we played fast. We would play in 18 holes walking in under 3 hours. She says to me, tell me how you gained weight. And I said, well, it must be from her cooking. And she goes, no, that's not it. We need to look at your food.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, you have an allergy somewhere. And I'm like, what? I said, I don't need any of this hocus pocus, mumbo jumbo, naturopath stuff, because I was a doubting Tom. I mean, well, come to find out, yeah, gluten. It was, that gluten was killing me.
Sure.
And so we try to avoid it now. But at the same time, later on, same lady, Jean had a cancer scare, had found a lump on her breast. And she decided not to do the radiation or chemo, did a full natural path on that, the natural path with the natural path, and it was gone.
Wow.
All of it. But that diet really messes with us.
Yep.
That's where I'm going with this thing.
Right.
And people don't realize it. You don't realize what you're putting in your mouth.
Yep.
To the point Aaron Bart says to me, because I love Buck and Honey's. I got to go to Buck and Honey's. All right, I go to Buck and Honey's once a week at least. Every Wednesday, I'm there at noon. That's where we do our post-show discussion for the real estate show. But Aaron would say to me, so you went to Buck and Honey's? I'm like, yeah, I did. She goes, what'd you have? I said, I had the grilled chicken on top of a tossed salad. And she goes, how'd they prepare it? I'm like, well, they used a grill probably. She goes, no. What did they put on the grill? I'm like, I don't know. She goes, is it butter? Is it oil? Is it corn oil? What kind of oil? Because Erin is a bodybuilder, and hers is about cutting her diet and following it so, oh my gosh, so strict, so, I don't know how to describe it. She's amazing.
Right.
And that's why she's a size 1, and her muscles are bigger than mine.
It's so tough for people to do.
It is.
Right.
So where I'm going with this, with you, is that it's a mindset. It's a change that you have to allow yourself to commit to.
Right.
And that's what you do.
We get ingrained in our habits.
Yes.
And sometimes disrupting those habits tends to be one of the biggest things. Is just changing those habits and then replacing our existing habits or existing routines with newer, healthy routines. Yep. So we definitely on our program we eat 6 times a day, and some of the food is provided, but it gives the proper nutrition,
right.
And also it's almost by nature it is a little bit of an elimination diet where it's probably taking a lot of the things that are irritating your body, inflaming your body, whether it's a sensitivity or allergy specifically, but it reduces that. And many people that they'll see on the scale, they see a big weight loss number in the first week. For me, I think it was 10 pounds in a week. But the thing was, it's not like I lost 10 pounds of fat, but I lost a bunch of inflammation.
Sure.
Because what I was eating was irritating my body.
Yeah. I
felt better. My ring started sliding on and off my finger easier. My energy was better, and it was because my body was fighting the food that I was putting into it, and it was draining my energy. It was making me feel bad. It was inflaming me.
So how do you teach these people?
Right.
Give me an idea of your health coaching program.
Yep. So what we do as coaches is we will check in as we get to the start date. We have certain tasks to do, and hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. You're going to add some more water. You're going to track this or that. When we have
water,
you're adding 64 ounces.
Yeah.
Now for some people, that's a lot.
A lot of water.
Right. Yeah.
That doesn't include coffee.
Right.
That's outside of your coffee.
So definitely water is a big thing to help flush out your body. But so we do the support up to that, leading up to the start date. On the start date, of course, there's a routine with what you're eating. We guide through it's only one meal a day that you actually have to make for yourself. And so we guide through that, and it is lean proteins, it's non-starchy vegetables, and our goal is within that first 4 or 5 days to get your body into a state of fat burn. And we do support calls during the first few days, messages, videos to watch, and so it's actually, right now as I'm saying it, it sounds intensive, but really, it's 15 minutes a day, just to get kicked off. And after that, we support our clients. We check in about every once a week or so, and of course we have messages that we'll chat via Messenger if there's any questions that come up along the way. But it's that one meal. For me, it was what I called the training meals. That meal we refer to as a lean and green meal, lean protein, and it doesn't have to be green vegetables. Cauliflower is great, but low starchy vegetables.
Sure.
It retrained me on how to make healthy choices.
Well, that's the thing. But here's what I want people to know is it's going to take effort, and it's going to be uncomfortable.
Right.
And the most important thing I want you to learn out of the whole process is to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Right.
And what I mean, follow up on that, is that change is uncomfortable. And so when you go to the grocery, I guarantee you, you're used to going and getting the exact same items every single week. We just did it.
Yep.
I know exactly where we're going to go, what we need to do. Send me to a different grocery, I freak, because I can't find anything, right? So we have those routines. So you have to have that mindset. And whether it's with a coach or a partner or spouse or something, you can work together on this. Because I'm going to tell you, doing it by yourself, it's hard.
Right.
Oh my gosh. And I've done all the different plans. I've done the low calorie stuff, which all of a sudden you drop a bunch, and then what do? Your weight is down, but now how do you contain that? How do you follow through with your meal, with your activities, to really support that?
Right.
Because if you don't, it's coming back on plus some.
Most people go back to their old habits.
Yeah,
they do a 30-day challenge or something like that, and they're drinking a shake 3 times a day, and sure, then the weight comes off.
Ain't gonna work.
But then once it's done, they go back to their old habits because they haven't truly implemented a new routine, or whether it's a brand new habit or an existing habit that you replace one of the action steps in.
Right.
If I can give an example on that,
sure.
I love craft beer, and so there was a time where I would have a beer almost every night, and so we'd get home, and the routine was I'd get home at the end of the night, put all my stuff away, start talking with Jen, and then would share a beer. And so, and then, we'd talk about our day, sit and relax and whatever.
Right.
So when we got on program, no alcohol for the first 30 days.
Right.
And then for me, I made a big change, cut way back. And not that, a beer a night, I don't feel that I was, overdoing it, but it was definitely a routine that I got into. So what we changed is that I'd get home, I'd put my stuff away, and instead of sitting and sharing a beer, we would replace that with a bubbly, a sparkling water. So we still have the drink, we'll still have the taste and the texture,
sure.
but it isn't empty calories and alcohol and things that are really bad for your body.
Right.
And so what I found is the beer wasn't the specific thing that I was craving. It was actually connection time with Jen, with my wife.
That's cool.
And so all we did was replace the cue, the routine, the reward leads to long term. So the cue was getting home at the end of the day.
Say that again. I want you to say what you just said, because that was a huge, very profound.
Yep. Cue, routine, reward. And those long-term habits then lead to results. So the cue is I get home at the end of the day. The routine was to get a drink. The reward was, I thought, having a tasty beverage. But the actual reward was connecting with Jen.
Sure.
And so we replaced that middle step. The cue is the same. The routine becomes to grab a sparkling water
sure.
or something healthy. Maybe it would be a cup of tea, something like that. The reward would be the same.
Yeah.
And replacing that one little step in there with a healthier choice leads to long-term habits.
One of the things that we do is, what I've cut back down to is, usually I don't drink during the week. Like when I say I drink a glass of wine or something like
right.
that. So it'll be Friday normally, and I'm one of those that my office is down in the basement, and I put my head down and go. I'm working. So Terry can come home and I'll keep working. I'll just keep until I got to get to a point, and then a lot of times she'll bring down a glass of wine. Well, that wine signal to me is, I want to talk to you.
Right.
I want to spend time with you. So then she brings it down, I wrap up, and then I grab that wine and go upstairs.
Yep.
I shut down everything. I have to shut down the computer. If I don't do that, then I'll go back down.
Yep.
And so I do my best to follow that. But the wine, a lot of sugar in that wine.
Right.
as Erin used to teach me, she was, if you're going to drink something, drink vodka. And I'm like, well, it's got sugar in it too, I'm sure. She goes, and soda water, not tonic. Tonic's got a lot of sugar in it. I'm like, man, there's just too many things that have sugar in it. Our life is full of sugar.
Yes.
But as I was picking on you on last Friday, you had all these sweets out there for the coffee clutch, coffee chat.
Right.
They were having at the chamber, and you grabbed one and ate it. I'm like, what are you doing? And I loved what your comment was. Do you remember?
It's sometimes, but every once in a while.
Every once in a while, you got to have a little bit of a reward.
Right.
I loved it.
And it's not necessarily a reward, and I don't like using food to be a reward, and it's, that's something that most of us, we have what we call comfort food. Oh, I've worked a really long day. I did all this shopping at Target today, so I'm gonna get a super mocha frappa, chapa, whatever, and it's gonna have 800 calories of sugar in it.
Sure.
We use it as a reward, as a comfort food, but we don't do that. Let's replace that. Can we just have coffee? Can we have maybe coffee with a little bit of cream and some stevia instead, so we're not packing all that on? Can it be a similar reward for all that hard work we did shopping at Target? All right. Can that be the reward? But we just replace with something healthier.
Wow. One of the things, I had COVID, a year and a half ago. It was terrible. 3 weeks in bed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had it bad. What came out of it was two things. One is I can't drink coffee. I can't stand the taste of it.
Mm.
I like the smell. I can't stand the taste. And I can't stand the smell of cooked oatmeal. I lost that. But it's a blessing, though, because I would usually drink coffee in the morning, which that high would just drive me, and then I would crash around 1 o'clock.
Right.
Couldn't figure that out, why I was doing that, or why that was happening. Well, since I've switched to tea, I don't have that. I don't have that acceleration, that high from the caffeine and all that. It's very settling, I guess.
Right.
And for me, it's more of the bitter taste, because I don't put sugar in it. And I usually drink an English tea or an Earl Grey. This has turmeric and ginger in it also. The turmeric to help with inflammation, and the ginger also. Ginger is actually more of a natural caffeine. But I lost those tastes for coffee, and I'm like, wow. I'm glad. I don't think I would ever want to go back to coffee.
Okay. Yep.
Because you know what I'm talking about. And then sometimes you drink so much coffee, you get these headaches.
Right.
But here's what I've learned, though, also, is you need to drink your water every day. But if you drink coffee, and you drink a lot of coffee, you need to drink even more water, because that's dehydrating you. The caffeine is dehydrating you. And so the physiology of that, you've got to drink more water. You have to drink water every day, people. Every single day. And a lot of people that know me know that I carry my little container.
Awesome.
And I've got my little buttons on it, so I know. And so I fill that up everywhere I go. I fill it up, and I'll probably have, that's 20 ounces there, and so I'll probably do that 5 or 6 times a day.
Nice.
I mean, that's a lot of water.
Yes.
That's a lot of, and I know I get up in the middle of the night. Yes, because I drink a lot of water. Okay, I'm flushing stuff out. But we need to flush things out of our body. That's another part, and the food is going to help move those things through your body.
Yep.
Things to talk about with 5 minutes to go. So how do you, in your coaching, it's your health coaching now, do you also work on the activity? Is it through martial arts or other things, or
right.
What am I missing with your program?
So
because I know you've got a really successful program, a health program.
It's a year-long program. It's a Habits of Health system, and so there's 26 different elements to it, but most of it is going to focus, so many people just need health up front. There's many elements that are going to be above and beyond weight loss. So how many times have you heard somebody say, oh yeah, I'd like to do this or that, but I'd like to go work out, but my knees hurt. Well, their knees hurt many times because there's just excess body weight causing a lot of undue pressure on that. And if they were to able to lose that, it would make their bodies more able and make them, allow them to do activities that they wanted to. And working out doesn't have to be, some people love going to the gym and they love doing the cardio, they love doing the weights. Some people loathe it. And so activity doesn't necessarily need to mean you're going for a half marathon run or that you're hitting the weight room. Activity can be going for a walk with your dog. Activity can be just walking through the park, going for a kayak, something that gets your body moving, but it doesn't have to be intense. So that's something we actually, if somebody is working out intensely, we actually ask them to back off for the first month. We actually want them to cut that down and keep their heart rate down. We let the nutrition get their body into fat burn and allow their body to adjust to, most people's bodies are accustomed to using the carbohydrates and sugars that we're putting in our American diet, and that it's used to burning that. We need to get the body used to burning the fat instead.
Right.
And so being able to use some of what we use for food, but then also go, I need a little more energy. Oh, hey, look at all this abundance that I have. All right, everybody's got that pantry, and you've got that item that's been sitting in the back for like 2 years, and you're like, I'll use that someday. That's what our body does. Our fat storage is our pantry.
Sure,
right?
exactly.
And we go, oh, hey, this is here. I can use this and use this for energy. And oh my gosh, if you've been in fat burn, when you get deep into fat burn, it's an amazing feeling. Your body feels so different that you sleep better, you're energetic, ambition. I found that when I was in full fat burn that I couldn't sit still. Times where I used to sit down on the couch and play on my phone or watch TV, or I just want to rest, I would sit down for 5 minutes in that old routine, and then I'd be like, I can't, I got to do something. I cleaned the garage. I built a garden at the back of Welland Ford, our old house. We put a little garden back there, started growing things. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Which again, for me, I told you I was a veggie hater.
I know, right?
We started growing spinach. I'm like eating raw spinach out of my garden. It was amazing. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Todd Foster is on right now, a buddy of mine from Michigan. He's one of the I would say one of the top-rated coaches in real estate, but also just in life itself and business. He's a great guy. He would say very similar to what you're saying. He is, but he relates to tell you that you've got to get into the routine.
Right.
You've got to set that up where now it's a habit. You've got to establish that habit.
Right.
And food is that way too. I mean, the activity and the food. My sister loves to teach. She goes, "Well, take Zoe out for a walk." I'm like, "That is not a walk. That's like a stroll, stop, stroll, stop, stroll, stop. All right, pick up the poop. All right, stroll, stop. But it's not that walk. I like to get in a walk and go.
Right.
And before COVID, in fact, it got shut down because of COVID. We were working on a trip to Everest. We were going to climb Mount Everest. And it was about human trafficking and all this, and sharing our faith over there in Kathmandu, which would have been a challenge like you can't believe. And so, but I was walking like you can't believe, and it did feel good. I mean, it felt great.
Right.
You get up, you want to move, you want to get out there and move. Got about a minute. Do they have to do martial arts if they're on your health program?
No.
They do not?
No.
Okay. And if they want more information, they can reach out to you. They can go to your website. I forgot. I had it.
kickssp.com is in kickssunprairie.com.
There you go. Thanks.
Yeah. Or look me up on Facebook, Seth Degan, Degnan.
Or go to my Facebook page and look him up. He's
there you
there.
go.
He's a buddy.
We're live, yeah.
What I want you to know from this show, folks, is that, man, there are things out there that can make you feel good. And with everything that we've been going through, whether it's politics or COVID, I can't wait for the day we stop talking about COVID. But then again, I feel like we're probably like our grandparents were about the Depression or something, or our great-grandparents, maybe in your case. And talking about that, it's something that we experience. But here's a way that you can get an activity that's fun. You help your health also at the same time. It's local right here. They're members of the chamber. They're quality people, and I will vouch for them.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. And I really appreciate you being on the show.
Happy to have you. Yeah, this has been fun.
Well, next time we got to get Jen on here.
We'll do that,
Except that you and I will never get a word in. I mean, she's really good at that. She is such an advocate. I mean, it's I love that about her. So let's do this. We got to get out of here, and I love this song, and you know that I do. So I have to do this one time. I got to put a little Springsteen on, but we are out of here. Bye, Sun Prairie. See you on Wednesday. Don't forget about 15th. Get over to Culver's 5 to 8 p.m. and have a Butterburger so it helps the media center, would you? Appreciate it. Bye, Sun Prairie. Facebook, you're awesome. don't know how that sounded. That thing was incredible, but getting that echo. The Gavitza, I don't know how some of the stuff works.
Yeah, that was weird. It was like something, another, it was picking up in some delay or something.
Looked like there was a microphone on her